the artist behind Creative Girl of Color. I am a podcaster, YouTuber, mom, entrepreneur, metalsmith, and all of these other things combined in between. So our artist today is Andrea Ehrhardt. Did I say it right? Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, so it's Ehrhardt. So like the air you breathe and then your heart.
Okay, Ehrhardt. See, and I have my New York accent, so you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be all up in there all at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, I had been after this lady for a while. Like I was like, you know what? I need to interview her because we both have the same entrepreneurial spirit. I listened to her podcast. She's
Oh,
also a
good.
podcast. Yeah. I listened to her podcast. I look at her videos on Instagram and all of that stuff. So I've been admiring you for a while, and I definitely needed to get you on the show so you can fill everybody in, because I know you have so many things that you want to talk about, so many things that you can impart to the people out there that really want to know how to be an entrepreneur, how to be killing it in the game just like you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's different. Usually I'm the one interviewing people, so this is kind of a nice switch.
I know. It's like, see, you get tonight off. You get a night to like chill and relax and stuff like that. So what
Yeah.
what I want you to do is kind of like introduce yourself, tell people tell us a little bit of your backstory, how you got started and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So, I guess I could start with college, I guess. So I graduated Missouri State University about, oh man, I guess it's been like 6 years ago or so. I had a major in painting, and if you were to tell me that painting like was a possible major when I was in high school, I would have been like, sign me up. But when I first started, I had no idea until I actually got to um, college and they were like, "Oh, you can major in painting." I'm like, "Okay, like let's just do that." Like that sounds way better than doing general business like I was doing. So since I started with general business, I was general business minor and an education minor. And I think I'm one of the few people that are actually using every bit of my degree now, with starting the Artist Academy. Anyway, I'll get into that. So, graduated from Missouri State and started a painting company, and which is basically I just filed for an LLC, called it Paint It Red, hence the hair color, and started painting logos for businesses around town. And it actually wasn't too long, and a popular outdoors company caught on, I guess, or heard of me that was located in Springfield, and they contracted me basically to paint their logo and some murals and everything all over North America. So I hopped on the road shortly after graduating college and just painted 60, 70 hours a week for several years. And so I got a lot of practice, and it was just a great time. And so lately, they don't have as much work for me, and so which actually has allowed me to stretch my marketing wings here in Springfield, Missouri. And so I've gotten more of like a local clientele, and I've got to work on prints and just all the stuff that you get to do as an entrepreneur, and just kind of figuring it out along the way. And so yeah, I mean, this year will be, I think, 5 or 6 years as a full-time working artist. And so lately, I've kind of pivoted slightly. Oh,
Sorry.
no, you're good.
I'm multitasking. But go ahead, I'm
Yeah.
listening to you.
No, you're good. Yeah, so lately, actually this year, January of 2019, I decided to pivot slightly and start teaching aspiring artists to do what I do, basically. Because there are a lot of artists out there who have so much talent, but don't necessarily have the business know-how. And I think I'm kind of the odd one out, as in I like the business side of things. I love the entrepreneur side. All of that, I love it. And so lately, I have started the Artist Academy, which is basically just a group monthly coaching program. I currently have 50 students who are killing it, and we're going through the fourth quarter success plan right now to show them how to maximize their profits during the fourth quarter, which is an artist's most profitable time. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Because I'm like, we need to bring it on back. We need to bring it on back because I have so many questions I mean, I have my whole script in front of me, but I mean, take us back. Like, how old were you
Yeah.
when you first? Because I know you said you went to college. You said,
Mhm.
"Oh, I can't believe it. I can major in painting." Right? That was like a
Yeah.
big discovery, right? So
Hmm.
take us back. Like, how old were you during that time? What made you want to actually be an artist? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I'll be 30 here in a couple days. So just to put it into perspective,
Wow. Early happy
I
birthday, guys. Put it down in the
thanks.
comments. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me stop you for 1 minute. If you guys have any questions, put it down into the comments and put it in all caps. And we'll get to it after at the end of the live. We don't want to interrupt the flow. But go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
listening to you.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I remember it really vividly because it was kind of one of those weird moments. I remember like so I had my major was general business, and I chose that because I was good at math, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be able to get a job that way. And I remember actually one night when I was about 20, I think. Yeah, I maybe just turned like 20, so 10 years ago. I remember just being up all night and just being like thinking I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think I want to be an art teacher. And at that time, because I was like, because I remember my art teacher in high school and elementary was just, I was just remember thinking like that would be the most fun job ever. And I don't know why I never thought of it before. And so I just remember being up literally all night and could not go to sleep. And so then I went in literally the next day and changed my major to painting. And yeah, I mean, so I thought I was going to be an art teacher because I thought that that was the only way to make money as an artist, and it's a really good way to make money as an artist and just to have like a stable income. But as I was going through the teaching program, I kind of realized a couple years in, so I was probably like 24 at the time, I realized I didn't really have like quite the passion of being like an art teacher, like just an art teacher, as
Right.
some of the other students in my class. And so I was like, well, I'll just take the painting major and just kind of see what I can do with it. And so after that, having a mild panic attack after graduating, I was like, great, I have a degree in coloring. Like, what am I going to do with that? You
I
know?
know, right? Because people think that as an artist, we're just in here coloring all day long. We're
Yeah.
not we're not doing anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. Definitely. Well, I mean, like I want to get like into the did you have a mentor? Did you have somebody that really kind of like taught you where it kind of like that first spark? Because I know what my first spark was with art where it just hit me cuz sometimes I always swear to God like the most unexpected things end up happening and it catapults you in a certain direction in life. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I've definitely been lucky in a lot of instances, whereas I kind of define luck as what is it? It's preparation and skill meet opportunity, basically.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, kind of. So like my grandmother was an artist, and so she kind of passed it down to me, essentially. I think I was a bit too young when she was around for her to be a mentor, and I never really had a mentor. And truthfully, that's kind of the reason why I started the Artist Academy, is because like if I would have had someone like me to tell myself like years ago, like, hey, this is the path, this is what you need to do, it would have been a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because I find that when you first start learning, well, for those of us that hasn't gone to school, because I know I didn't go to school for art, it was just
yeah,
something that kind of hit me like in my 30s. I had just did a big move. I had moved from New York to Maryland. And when I did that move, I was just like, oh my God, I can't really make jewelry. My jewelry was in storage. So it's like I needed some sort of creative outlet. So I was like, you know what? I need to find something to go into. Or, you just have that creative thing where you just got to do something.
yeah,
Because I know that's how I am. Like, I'm not the type of person where I could just relax. I don't even know what relaxing means, really. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like when people are like, "Oh, I'm just chilling, I'm relaxing," I'm like looking at them like they have 12 heads. Like I don't even know what that even means. like chilling and relaxing, because I just don't have that in me. So I feel like I needed something to do, and boom, I found someone's tutorial on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
YouTube,
Yeah.
I call it the university, YouTube University. And I was like, oh, I'm really digging this. I really love this. And then I said, you know what? I think I want to be serious with this, and I'm going to really dig in. So that was like my aha moment when it
Yeah.
came to something.
Yeah. That's
You know what I
awesome.
mean?
Yeah, for sure. Good old YouTube. Like I actually just learned to bake a cake from YouTube here recently, like a full layered cake from scratch and frost it and everything. I'm like, heck
Oh
yes,
my
YouTube is
God.
amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. It is. I mean, do you think, like, does that make like art school obsolete at this point, or
No.
is it a benefit? Well, is it more of a benefit on either
It
end?
it it is a benefit. And so there's just something that sets apart something. So like if you have skin in the game, if you're paying for something, you're more than likely going to show up for it, which is school, which is buying an online course, any of that. And often school or an online course for how to paint or how to do art business, it gives you a step-by-step model more than likely. Whereas YouTube,
Right,
you can search around and you can do all this. But if you contact, the YouTube creator or whoever made that video, the likelihood of them answering your questions is kind of low. So you can watch all that, and that's for your viewing purposes. But if you have questions or you want to interact with something, that's where school or art educators come in. You know what I mean? Where
that's true.
it is a good perk. But
That's
yeah,
true. That's true, because I mean, if you're self-taught, so to speak, I
yeah,
mean, you definitely have all of these pitfalls that you fall into. It's kind of hard to figure out, like, what's the next step.
yeah,
It's certain things that only a mentor or some
mhm,
teacher or somebody, atelier, somebody's school can actually teach you how to do, that you're not going to necessarily learn on, books, YouTube, whatever. You got to actually put in that work. And I think art school would benefit, because I mean, you do like life drawing, color
yeah.
theory, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't even know if I necessarily recommend like a university
Right,
that has you learn all these different things. But just anything that's just really specific. If you can invest in yourself, I mean, you're only gonna make it. You're gonna make it back. You know what I mean?
right,
But that's not to say you can't be self-taught. You just have to have a lot of discipline. And
right.
you'll just have to connect the dots for yourself. So like YouTube and just a self-taught artists, there are all the things out there like do this, do that, but having a mentor helps connect the dots and put it all together.
Exactly, exactly. I
Mhm.
definitely agree. So now I want to know, like, who inspires you? Like, who's your favorite artist, dead or alive? Who are you like stalking on Instagram? I mean, we all got somebody we stalking on Instagram,
Yeah, for
so
sure. Yeah, well, what's really good about having a podcast like you are too, like on my Arts Academy podcast, I get to interview these people that I stalk. So
I know,
it's
right?
like it's like a side benefit. But no, I mean, okay, so one, she's a really good artist and a business person, Sophie T. Art. You know her?
I
She's
don't
a
think I've seen her before.
She's a London-based artist. There's a couple other. And I actually don't really stalk a lot of artists, but I do stalk a lot of business women. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
women, just in general, women who are just kicking butt in whatever field they're in. It doesn't even have to be art. If someone's in like health and fitness, or someone's in digital marketing or something like that, you can pull all these things that sometimes aren't even in the art world yet and pull from
Right, right.
them and learn and just kind of go from there. So yeah, business podcasts, like women business podcasts, are like how I start my day, basically.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, I listen to your podcast. Make sure you guys, Andrea, you could actually type that in if you want in the comments, and so people
Okay.
can see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't think I got your podcast, your whole podcast
Oh yeah.
information.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
just it's artistacademypodcast.com. But
Okay.
I'll type it in the conversation after this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I basically I listen to your podcast where you give a lot of art business, because people don't understand, if you're going to do this as a career, you
Mm-hmm.
need to have art business. You need to have a business kind of model. You need to have
Yeah.
a business work ethic, because you have to treat it like a business, because
Yeah.
you're dealing with transactions and you're dealing with people, so that equals to customer service and stuff like that, and all of
Yeah.
these different personalities. So yeah, you definitely want to go ahead and look at her podcast, you guys, because it's absolutely dope. So my next question is, what is your daily routine?
Huh. Actually, I just got back from vacation. We just flew back from
I
Iceland
know, you know what,
yesterday.
I seen that you went to Iceland, like, ow, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So I'm just now getting back into a routine. And it's so funny. Whenever you get back and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have like a chill day and get some stuff done. When I'm not in a routine, it just throws everything off. And so my routine is usually I try to book an appointment or a painting or something in the morning. That way it gets me up and out of the house so that I can be productive.
Hmm.
And then I'll usually just paint all day, listen to podcasts all day. Usually I'll do murals on site. And I think it's just amazing that we can listen to books or just audio of some sort while we paint.
I
I
know.
I learned so much. Like I learned so much. Like anyway, and then I'll usually come back and I'll actually usually work until I don't know, 7 or 8 at night on Artist Academy stuff, and then go to bed and start it all over again.
Wow. So you go, so okay, so you're an early riser. Like, what time do you usually
Ha,
get
no.
up?
No. So my alarm's set for usually like 8 a.m. and that's about as early as I get.
Right,
Right
right.
right now we're on Iceland time, so we woke up at like 6 a.m., which never happens voluntarily.
Oh, you're
But
still in Iceland.
no, so we're my body is still in Iceland time though.
Oh.
I'm back in I'm
That's why
back
I was
in
like, oh my
sorry.
God, girl. So did you
No,
get any inspiration when you went over to Iceland? Tell us all about it. I want to know like a
Iceland.
brief synopsis of Iceland.
Okay. Yeah, no, I went with my I guess soon to be family, my fiance's family. We're getting married in February, so they're basically my
Congratulations.
Thanks. And so we all went over there and we drove around the ring road in Iceland. So there's basically a road, number one, that goes all around Iceland. It takes about 15 hours to go around the whole thing. We split that up
Right.
between 7 days. And we saw just, I mean, a million waterfalls, and the landscape over there is just to die for. And it's
Yeah, I
just
seen a little bit of
crazy.
that in your stories.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks insane.
it
It
really
looks like
is.
so idyllic. Like, like that doesn't really exist. We don't know whether that's real.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, so tell us, what is your family support? Like, are they supportive of your art? What did they feel about your art? What do they say about it?
Yeah. So I think so my dad was kind of the one who was always like, you should probably do something in art. You should probably do something in art. And I was like, Dad, you can't make a living as an artist. Stop. Like, like your parents think they know everything and but you think you know everything. And so I finally just kind of like decided to switch my major and but even then I think my dad and my mom, they're both like, I mean, good luck. Like, I mean, there's the term starving artist out there for a reason. So they were like, oh gosh, I mean, hopefully she doesn't ask us for money. I think that's what they were
I know,
thinking.
right? But I
Yeah.
mean, when you went to art school, because I know in art school, a lot of people build up like a network, right? They build up a
Yeah.
network of people they could kind of reach out to, like professional
Mhm.
studios, different contacts in the business. So okay, so let me ask you, what made you want to get into just specifically animals, wildlife? I know you love butterflies. We see the butterflies. I've
Mhm.
seen them. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love your elephants. You got the
Thank
big
you. Oh yeah,
elephant
you
behind
too.
you. It's very
Yeah.
beautiful. So
Yeah.
what made you get specifically in that realm?
So the butterfly thing kind of came along. Well, I guess it kind of went back to um Oh, I guess so. We're working for that outdoor company, right? I was just around outdoor murals all the time, and I liked painting the animals more than I liked to paint the landscape. So when I stopped working for them full time, basically, I just started painting animals because it was what I had gotten good at, and it's what I liked still. And it wasn't trees and rocks like we were painting.
Right.
So I just kind of started doing that. And then the wings came about because I saw Kelsey Montague's wings, who were in Nashville. One of my friends posted a photo of that. And I was like, well, my little town doesn't have any wings. So instead of, so I took her idea of wings and
Right.
I made it my own by doing like a colorful butterfly, basically a monarch. And those just took off like crazy. So,
Yeah, I see. I see.
yeah.
So what do you
And
go ahead.
do what? Oh no.
Go,
So and then I started to do more wildlife stuff because I was like, well, I kind of need a niche. And so that I was like, well, if I do just process of elimination, I was like, I don't like to paint people. I'm kind of over painting landscapes, so I was like, whatever, let's just do some wildlife art.
well, I mean, you got to go into what feeds you as far as creatively. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I love portraiture. Portraiture is my jam, and
Yeah.
I'm on a total like if I can't even okay, like say if I decided to paint animals or whatever, right? Like it would have to be a person in there somewhere. It
Really?
can,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. It
no.
can.
I was like, please no.
It can't just be the animal there because then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do with this thing? But I mean, I know that a lot of people love animals. Like animals are like the universal language, pretty much. I
Yeah.
think it's more. I think it may be harder to sell portraiture than animal art. What do you think?
I think it's so funny because I was just saying that the other day. I was like, it's so hard to sell animals. Because if it's not someone's favorite animal, they usually don't want it. So they have to like love giraffes or love elephants. Has to be like their favorite thing for them to buy it. But I could see how portraiture would be difficult as well because if you paint a person, somebody who doesn't know that person, or even if they do know that person, they might not want that painting of the portrait. But I do follow a couple really good portrait artists who they
Right.
incorporate they incorporate like waves or flowers into the portrait. So it's a person, but there's so many other things into it that it makes it beautiful in a different way. And I think people will buy that because it's not just a person, maybe.
Right. Right.
But I don't know. I'm not super familiar with portrait art. Just the human face doesn't interest me at all. I don't know.
Well, I'm the type of person, and I know with you're. I mean, you're basically. I mean, you guys really need to research my girl here because she's doing her thing. You know, you have like what 60,000 followers on Instagram, which is absolutely bonkers. And we're gonna
It
get
is.
it. And we're gonna get into that in a minute. Okay, because you got to spill the tea because we're going to talk about social media strategy. So for those of you
Yeah.
watching, stay tuned because she got the jewels. She gonna drop them gems, and we're gonna find out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I know for me, I do a lot of research, and I look into what's trending in art. Who's buying what. I mean, even though it's not always accurate, because
Yeah.
sometimes what somebody buys online is totally different from what somebody's gonna buy from you in person.
Mhm.
So, and I seen that they talked about landscapes. I think was number one, and then it was like seascapes.
Oh, I can see seascapes. Those are big.
Yeah,
I want those. Like.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see it. Like I can see that elephant flowing in the water somewhere, right? So, yeah, seascapes, and then it had portraiture was in there like the top five, but it
Oh.
was a little bit harder. I think I feel, somebody sending me some messages like, but yeah, I could see the top five being that, and then of course it was animals, so it was
That was it.
um
In the top five, animals were.
in the top five. So it was
Oh.
like portraiture, seascapes, landscapes. What is the other one? Wildlife. So that was
Wildlife.
like the top five things that. Abstract. That was the
Oh.
other one.
What other kinds are there though?
Uh, well, I mean, there's so many different genres. I mean, you have
Yeah.
surrealism.
Oh, me too. I love
Uh,
that stuff.
yeah, I love surrealism too. Like that's my jam too. Like, you have cubism.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
you know, like Picasso, he did cubism and all of that stuff. So I mean, there's so many different genres and so many different types of art that's out there. You know, and you just have like the fringes of art or whatever. You know what to say about that. But you know,
Yeah.
it's so many different genres out there. And then you have people that just do murals. Like, cause I know you
Yeah.
do murals as well, but that's not predominantly where you're at. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So let me look down at my questions. Okay. Um, what are some of your favorite techniques? You know, do you prefer acrylics? Cause I know you work in acrylics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you
Yeah.
prefer acrylics? Do you prefer oils, spray paints?
Yeah.
What's your jam?
Yeah, acrylics mostly. Mainly because the dry time. A lot of people don't like how it dries so fast, but I definitely do because I like to work really fast. If I'm working on a painting for longer than like 8 hours, I'm so bored with it. So I tend to be really, really fast, because I just lose patience with it. And so oils, having to wait for drying to layer it, it's just not going to happen. So, and also just waiting for it to dry. I did oils in college and it was good. Like I actually like the smell of them, but
Did
to
you?
actually use it, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God. What
I
you
know. I
mean,
love
like
it.
the regular oils? Like the
Yeah.
ones with like the full blown turpentine? You loved it?
Yep. I'm like,
You
it just
know,
makes me feel at home.
oh my God. You know what? You don't, you know, it's some people that love the smell of gas.
Oh no.
It's, so I mean, I'm not saying that you like the smell
Okay.
of
Yeah.
gas, but you know, I'm talking more so maybe you're one of those people that you like, you know, certain smells are like appealing or whatever. But
Yeah.
like I know even like the odorless mineral spirits, that gives me a pounding headache.
Yeah, I
And
actually had some of that in my car. Because like my car is like my paint mobile. I take it everywhere. I just paint in it all the time. And somebody got in, my fiance got in my car. I was like, "Woo! It smells like paint in here." I was like, "I'm gonna smell it." Like I am my nose blind to it.
yeah, I think that's what it is too. Because sometimes somebody steps into my studio and I have the oils open, or
Mhm.
specifically the mineral spirits. People are like, "Ew, what is that?" You know, I'm getting a headache. You know, my head is hurting. I'm like, I don't smell it. I don't know what you talk about. You know,
Yeah,
that means you need to leave the studio. Okay, that's
yeah.
what that means. You know, so okay, so are you with a gallery? Have you ever been with a gallery?
No,
Walk us through that. No?
nope.
Do,
I know very little about the gallery experience too because I've never done it. I know it does it can work. So not to down it at all, but nowadays with the internet being as prominent as it is, just selling online, so you don't have to give up 50% of your profits. That's the way I've been going because I see mainly because I see other people doing it and I'm like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And so just promoting online and building like a social media following is free promotion. Like a lot of people are like a lot of people don't like to post about themselves on social media because they're like, oh, it makes me look vain or it makes me look like I'm just like self promotion. And I'm like, no, no, it is free advertising to just post your process, to post the finished product, to post just everything. And people love to follow that kind of thing and they love to see things being made too. So like time lapse videos. When I started to make those, just as a social media tip, that changed my business. People love to watch time lapse videos just
they
from
do.
start to finish, 15 seconds, make it short and sweet. That's my biggest tip for people posting online. They're like, well, because a lot of people are like, well, I can't post something every day, and I'm like, yes, you can. You can post like the beginning, you can post the time lapse of it, you can post the middle part and the finished product. That's
Right.
4 days worth of posts. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I feel. You know, but
yeah.
again, it's all about it's not you know, I was watching it, I was listening to another podcast. I forgot what her name is. But she was had some good tips where she was talking about, you know, it's not about how good you are as a painter. You don't have to be the best painter, but it's
Mm-mm.
about how you market yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, because I mean, I always use the comparison too with singers. Like, there's so many people who are so good at singing, but there are only very few who make it to the very top and who everybody knows, you know. And they are really good singers, but there are so many singers. And just like there's so many artists, but it's just up to the marketing and it's up to what you can do, who you can meet, how you're willing to put yourself out there, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, um, for you, like, what do you think what do you think is the difference between a successful artist and, a non-successful artist? What is the big difference besides
Now,
marketing?
networking. So like I guess marketing kind of fits in the networking thing, but one of the big reasons that I am doing so well is because I know a lot of people and I'm in communication with people who also know a lot of people, so referrals. Um,
Right.
that's just so big because like the more people who know about your art, the more business you're gonna get. It's just a numbers game. And so I mean the foundation is being good at what you do, but you don't have to be the best. It helps if you are, but
Yeah.
you just have to be good enough. Like you just have to be smart enough. And then after that, it's just how much you want to work for it and how much you want to just show up every day, even when no one's watching, and just post about it. And because people will eventually start watching and people will eventually take notice. But I think it's the people who maybe don't want to start or don't want to be seen starting from nothing, so they don't start at all. And they just do art as a hobby, thinking that they can't do it because they don't have a lot of guidance. So I also the number two to that is guidance. Someone to show you what to do is huge as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think a lot of the difference between and I posed that question to you. I knew you would tell me what it is because we both have, we're in the same
Yeah.
spectrum here. We have the same mind when it comes to that. I think it's about work ethic. I think it's about networking. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Because it's not always what you know, it's who you know sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I ended up, how I found you was because, okay, it's a funny story, right? How
Yeah.
I found you is I was going to interview an artist. She's one of the very first artists I had on the show.
Kayla?
And
Was it Kayla?
Kayla,
Yeah.
Kayla, Kayla.
Artist Academy student.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. And she
She's
happened
great.
to be one of your students.
Yeah.
And, I was starting everything up and I was like confused about something that was going on with the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've DM'd you. We've had private conversations where I'm like, oh my God, what's going on with this Facebook video?
Yeah, it's tough.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's tough to navigate through all of that stuff, but you got to stay motivated. But anyway, I found you through her. And she was like, oh, you know what? I know an artist. She's really good. She has a podcast, da 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 da. She sent me the link to your podcast, sent me all the information. She was like, look her up. She's really good. I don't know. She's really busy. She has a lot of followers, but I
Oh,
didn't.
yeah,
So I was like, she was like, I don't know if she's going to be able to help like that, but at least you
yeah.
can find out some tips from her, tricks, stuff like that. So I looked up your podcast. I loved your, bubbly voice and the fact that, you was talking a million miles a minute. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I'm digging it. But then you had so much good help, you know,
Hmm.
um, because, I think it takes a special type of person to actually teach and to pay it forward also.
Hmm.
But going back to what I said, that's
Yeah.
how I met you, through networking with that particular artist, and then she linked me up with you, and that's how things go. That's how you get to where you need to get. But and then also you got to put in the work, because I mean, I'm sure you have very late nights or nights
Yeah.
that you're working 15
Yeah.
hours, 16 hours, and a lot of people don't see that, because I mean, on Instagram you see the big, the blip, the
Yeah.
pretty nice photo, we pose, boom, 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 you look good, and you see that 15-second synopsis of what's really going on. But behind the scenes, we're grinding, sweating, crying, full of pain, every piece of clothing I have has paint on it. I swear to God.
No, I know, same. Like I just had to buy a new winter jacket because I was like, oh, like my last one, I tried not to get paint on it, but then I was at a job, and then I got cold, and that was the only jacket I had, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep it clean, and no, it doesn't happen. And
No,
so yeah, every piece of clothing has
it
paint on
definitely does not happen. I have a favorite pair of pants. And I was going out thinking I was cute one day, like, you know, doing my thing. And then somebody was like, ew, what is that on your pants? You... So I
it.
was like, that was like so embarrassing, but whatever. You know, I was like, listen, I'm an artist. I can get away with it. It is what it is. Just don't look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. So let's get into our next question. Okay, so do you feel pressure from society, community, or whatever to create popular art, whether it's, you know, popular themes within the wildlife community? Because I know y'all have your own separate community of artists
Mhm.
over there.
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story with that actually. So when I first got into this like niche of creating wildlife art, I started to create things that are very naturalistic, like this elephant back here, because that's what I thought people wanted. And I was like, well, okay. And but deep down, I really wanted to just get crazy with the colors. And but I was like, no, like I really don't want people to like, not take me seriously because I'm doing rainbow animals, you know what I mean? And so I held off on it for so long. And I was like, yeah, I did everything like very natural and it went over well. And then I did a zebra, and I did a zebra painting over here, and I did a
I think
rainbow
that's the
zebra.
one you sent me, right? The with you in
Yeah,
front of
actually that's the one
it
on
has
the
like
poster that you made.
green and purples and pinks and
Yeah.
stuff in it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. That's beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah, and I
Hmm.
remember posting it and just like holding my breath and being like, I hope people don't think I'm a child for like making this rainbow art. And so then I just did it, and people loved it. And
Yeah.
so I made it, kind of gave me permission to make more. And so now I make I have like a pink tiger and a pink lion that I'm like staring at right now. So I'm in my studio right now, and now I've just gone crazy with it. So right now I'm doing like a pink cat as like a niche kind of a thing, or like a series. So in the beginning, yeah, I did feel pressure to create art that I thought people wanted. But
Right.
now I've just really lately, especially started to just shed that and be like, okay, someone like there's going to be another girl like me out there who loves pink and who loves cats or something, and she's gonna and instead of looking at like a normal lion photo and be like, oh yeah, I like that. I know like in my head that someone is gonna see this pink one and be like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. Because that's what happens when you niche down. So and you get really specific with it. You go from being slightly vanilla to being like strawberry. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right, right.
like people either love it or hate it, and that's what you want in the art world. Like because being vanilla sometimes doesn't like get as much attention.
So, I mean, let me tell you, we are like on the same wavelength, okay? Because before she even like, you know, it was like a godsend to find you, because it's not just, you know, it doesn't matter necessarily about the amount of people you have on your Instagram, because I didn't even know the amount of people you had on there until I
Yeah.
finished the podcast and all of that, and actually seen a few of your pieces. Then I went to your Instagram and I was like, whoa, she got like all of these followers. She has a lot of followers.
You're
So
like, wait,
anyway,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that was going on. But I seen you, you know, through the podcast, you was talking about the things that you do during the day, you know, I guess struggling. I know one podcast you was saying something about, you know, you never thought you would be a podcaster because, you know, I think you said you had a stutter or a lisp or
Yeah,
something.
no, a
Yeah.
stutter like somebody I'll especially like get excited and I just can't spit it out, and I'm like, oh no no no,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So when I seen that on the you know, when I heard that on the podcast, and then I seen, you know, your work ethic, and then I went to one of your pages and I was like, and I had already done my pink lion, right?
Ah!
So I was like, I was like, oh my God, I need to do a pink lion because everybody's doing lion. Now, mind you, I'm not a wildlife person, right?
Yeah.
I'm not an animal person, but for some reason that pink lion was calling my name, okay? So I did the pink lion or whatever. And it wasn't like a lioness. It was more like the man lion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I did that, and I thought like everybody loved it, and I could have swore to God that they was gonna hate it, like they was gonna think like it was like some kitty thing, and oh my God, look at her, she's doing like a pink lion or some pink animal. Look at her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I took a risk with that, but then when I seen yours, I was like, oh my God, like we're on the same wavelength. Like she's
Yeah.
with me. Like what
How
is going
funny.
on? Yeah,
Yeah.
like you never know the path that life is going to take you down.
Yeah.
So it's just a funny thing. But I went on like a rant real quick. I had to talk about that for a minute. The pink
Yeah, that's
lion
so cool.
situation.
That's such a weird coincidence too, because that's not
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
especially since you don't do wildlife art that much, but you're like, I need to
No,
do a pink lion. Like that's
yeah.
how I felt too. I was like, I need to do a pink lion.
It was crazy, and then it sold like right away. Cause usually,
Oh
and it was something I didn't even really think about too hard. I was just like I was experimenting. I was like, I need to do this. Like it was just calling my name type of thing.
no.
Um, so what I wanted to ask you is, okay, with the popular art, okay, would you say it's important for artists, like if they're newbie artists or whoever's trying to get into art, do you think it's important for us as artists to have a niche or a certain like style? Do you think that directly correlates to more selling, or what do you think about that?
So, I don't know, man. Um, so if you look at my page, you'll be like, this girl is all over the place, Like I have like murals of this, and that, and I do lettering, I do logos, and so I think that's just a good example of you don't have to niche down. However, they kind of say like your niche will find you, if it sees you working, So
Right.
as you go and you paint all this stuff, I think it's important to just keep in mind what you like to do the most, because what happens there when you really niche down, the benefits of doing that are you focus on that one specific area. So like I have one of the Arts Academy students, she does seascapes, primarily, and she is getting so dangerously good at seascapes because she's doing them all the time. She just did one recently that just blew me away. Like, I mean, all of her stuff is good, but this one was just like, I was like, okay, I need to order that from you. Like, this is
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Oh, so it was
So,
that dope. You was with
yeah,
it.
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's what happens when you niche down to whether as if she was doing portraits and wildlife and seascapes, she wouldn't have got to that point where she created a bomb seascape.
Right.
And so that's a big benefit. Also, having a benefit of a niche is over and over again. What happens from a marketing standpoint is people start to see the same thing over and over again, and they start to want that thing. It's
Right.
just a weird correlation in your mind because, like, I get, I think it's for someone to really know a brand, they need to see it 27 times to be able to really
Wow.
see it. Yeah, to really be
Wow.
so familiar with it, to know how to spell it, to know what it looks like without really looking at it. They need to see it 27 times. And so what happens with doing a niche is you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's making people really aware of your brand. And it's also like if someone sees like right now, like with butterflies, and I'm going to start niching down to butterflies here, in the near future. Just a little heads up with that. But and when someone sees a butterfly or when someone sees a cat, they'll send me a picture of it, and that's part of your marketing. That's part of your branding. So that's just a
Right.
benefit. And you don't have to niche down, but I would just be consciously trying to know that you don't have to, because I'm a really good example of someone who hasn't all the way, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I do a little bit of everything. People ask for everything from me. So yeah, short answer, you don't have to, but do it if you can.
Yeah, because I think about that, because it's like, you know that old proverb where they talk about uh the master of many, or the that proverb where
Yeah.
you
Oh
master
yeah.
many things, but
Oh,
you're not. What is it called again? Like, it's like,
something of many, master of none. I forget.
right, something like
I
that.
yeah, basically
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
jack of
Like,
all trades, master of none.
right, and so I'm like, even though I don't necessarily do all of these different, even though I do a lot of different things, I would say, like, I can do a lot of different things well, but I sit there and I think about, people that are doing something specifically, like, even if it's just like, like, one of my favorite illustrators is Bobby Chu, and he's more of a concept artist, but Bobby Chew, but when you see his work, because it's all animals, but it's not like animals in a traditional way, but it's more like animals in the
Yeah.
illustrative way, like like for movies and cartoons, because that's mostly what he does his work for, is for movies like Frozen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So and instantly when you see those weird little creatures, that's what he calls them, creatures. When you see them creatures, it's him. You know,
Yeah.
specifically that's him, that's his
Yep.
work, no matter where it's at. So sometimes I think about that, even though I can do 20,000 things well. Like, people ask me, well, can you do an animal, even though you don't really do animals? I'm like, yeah, I can do animals, I can do it all, but should I be just focusing down on that one thing that I can do really, really well? And then that way people will know specifically, like, hey, this is her, this creative girl of color, this is Danielle, whatever it is. This is the person I need to be going to for that specific thing. Because I notice
Yeah.
people who have a niche or have a certain way or a certain art style, they get more people. Because I don't know, do people seem confused when you don't have a certain niche?
No, I think so. I think it's only in the art world that we really put a lot of pressure on ourselves to get a niche. Um, but our viewers don't feel confused at all. I don't think they're just like, man, she can do everything. That's what they're gonna think. And then they're also gonna think, oh, she can do whatever I want. And so they'll ask you to do whatever they want. So I get people trying to commission me for people portraits all the time, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't do that. But so one way though, if you really want to be known, if you know what your niche is, basically for anybody listening, mostly, if you know what your niche is, you know what you want. If it's like pet portraits, which if it is, you're in a great shape because there is a big need for pet portraits, and I don't like doing them. So I
Oh,
would only,
really? You
oh
don't like
yeah,
doing
no, I
them?
don't.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but that is
You know,
huge. If somebody wanted to have a niche of pet portraits, go for it. Like, you're gonna make a great living. But I actually just had a podcast episode air today about how to find a niche and how to promote your niche and how to make money with a niche. But a really good way to make money with it and to get commissions is to post almost only that, because
right,
then people will ask for that. It's crazy what I'll post, and like I'll post one thing and then someone's like, "Oh, I want that but different." And I'm like, you almost have to give them the idea for them to commission you. You know what I mean? And sometimes you have to do it
right,
for free at first. Like, you have to do it
right.
for free on your own, do whatever you want, and then to get people to commission you to do that thing.
Oh yeah, you guys, she dropping the gems. You better get your notebook out and write it down. Cause for those of you that love pet portraits, I know Kayla. I think she does pet portraits or something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, buddy. I don't know if I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? But no, my thing is, like, okay, like elephants, things that don't have like a lot of hair, I can
Yeah.
deal with. And people are like, well,
Uh-huh.
you do portraits with these flowing hairs. I'm like, listen, hair on the head of the human is
Yeah.
totally different from like a fluffy dog with 20,000 pieces of hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
It
no,
is a
no,
lot of
no.
patience. Yeah. Like just from doing that lion, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like taking your little brush and just do. Oh my gosh, it's so much hair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did a pink lion, then I did a blue lion, and the blue lion I spent, you know, 50 hours just going, in the same, and then you got to go in a different direction, in another direction, and then you're going
Yeah.
50,000 different directions, and then you got to have all of these different values. I mean, we can get into it because we're artists, but we don't want to bore people
Hmm.
to death with like the
Yeah.
values and all the different shades of the
Yeah.
same color fur.
Yeah, a big tip on that. What I've noticed is to use a way bigger brush than you think you need, because if you use a brush that's also frayed, it'll create so many hair marks, and you'll just go along with a big brush rather than do the little stuff. I usually start really big and
Right.
then go little as I go, more
Yeah,
detail.
that's true. I think if you get like those big shapes, like if you ever
Mhm.
you do you start out, now let me ask you, do you start out with a sketch? Like do you do full blown sketch and then you
So
slowly move into the paint, or do you just go in with the paint?
no, usually, this is a really good trick for anybody who wants to do wants to just get into the painting part. So I don't suggest anybody use a projector if you don't know how to draw first. If you know how to, or if you don't know how to draw, learn how to draw. It will help you so much with painting. However, if you're
Oh
like me
yeah.
and you don't and you just want to like get the outline up there so you can start painting, I use a projector. So I'll go
Okay.
on to wildlifereferencephotos.com. It's just a almost free website with really good photos of all these different animals, and I pay $5 to use the image, and so it's royalty free basically. So just $5, and I'll take the almost exact image that I want. Sometimes I'll change it a little bit, but I'll project it onto the canvas so that way the eyes are exactly where they need to be, the nose, the mouth, the head, and just a really light pencil sketch, and then I'll start painting. So that really helps too. It just saves time, I've noticed. That way,
Yeah,
good time is money. So I'm like, okay, just a
yeah,
quick
yeah.
sketch and then get in the painting.
I mean, time is money. Now, let me ask you this, because I know sometimes a lot of artists, especially once the bigger you get, the more your brand grows, you find it harder to kind of paint like what speaks to you versus you just want to get something out because you need to put something on social media. You need to crank these things out. You kind of turn into somewhat of a factory. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, I mean, well, and I don't really do it to put it on social media. It's more like I get commissioned locally for murals all the time, and I have to now schedule days in my calendar, like physically schedule it in my calendar, like write it out there, like do not schedule a mural on that day, because that way I'll paint for myself on that day. Because if I don't do that, then my schedule will just fill up with mural commissions all the time, and so I'm constantly painting for everybody else. Um, excuse me. That actually happened here recently too. It was just months and months had gone by, and I didn't paint anything for myself. And I was like, wait a second.
Oh no.
Like, wait a second. Like, and so I scheduled off like a week, which is too much time, really, for me. I'm like, just a couple days, because then you really just appreciate those couple days, and you'll actually get to work. Um, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I just
What?
create for everybody else all the time.
Yeah, I think that's what it gets to, because now I find myself either I'm doing YouTube videos, tutorials, podcasts,
Yeah,
scheduling
that too.
interviews, you know, or and now that I have my group, because I have my new group that I just opened up over there. I mean, you're part of the group, so I
Mhm.
have my new group that I just opened up. So now I feel like an obligation. Now it's not just like,
Mhm.
oh, I want to paint and I want to get have fun and paint what I like and paint what speaks to me. Now it's like I have people. Because people don't have to subscribe to you. They don't have to buy from you. They don't have to do anything with you. You know what I'm saying? So you
Mhm.
feel almost an obligation, like they're part of your family. You have to do something with them. You have to do something for them. You can't just leave them there and
Yeah.
go off for a week. Because I mean, even a week, and not, So another artist I was listening to, they was like, well, I just turn off my phone for the whole week. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no, since starting this membership group, I just can't do that. Before starting the membership group this year, I've done that before, where I've just gone, like I took a trip to Thailand for a month, and then just was like, nope, nobody, like get away. I don't want to deal with anything. But now that I have the Artist Academy, who pay every month for mentorship, I just can't do that. But yeah,
Yeah,
starting the Artist Academy really has taken away a lot of time from painting for myself. And I think I'm just now realizing that, and I'm not blaming it on that. It's up to me to fill my own schedule, you know. So now
right.
I just have to carve in time. Whereas before, I would spend my time painting for myself, and now I spend my time on my students. So just
Exactly.
realizing that and having to schedule in time. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot. I mean, because when you're an entrepreneur like us and you're out there, like when you first started building your brand and stuff, let's talk about that. When
Yeah.
you first started building your brand, because you would say, what, how many years have you been building this brand up? When did you know, boom, this is it? Or did you have like cry in your coffee one day and say, I'm going to give up?
No. So, well, actually, so when like right out of college, I started painting logos for businesses, and then like really quickly, I got picked up by Bass Pro, the local outdoor store. They now have stores everywhere, so that really kicked off my art career.
Right.
And then at once they weren't needing artists that much, they just stopped building as much. I knew that there was no way I was going back to any other job, so that was really my kick to really be like, okay, I need to build a brand. I need to build a local clientele. I need to do all the things because I am not getting another job ever. I can't go back to doing not painting. I couldn't imagine not painting. Like
I
we literally have the
know.
best career.
It's literally the best thing on the planet.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
universal language. It makes people happy.
Yeah.
I swear to God, like my house, like is full of art everywhere. And this is not even to mention the stuff that I have in the basement, stuff that I've sold, all of that stuff. So it's like I can't even imagine walking now when I walk in people's house. Like before, it wasn't even a big problem, but now when I walk in people's house and I see like empty walls, I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with your
I know. It's like, let me fill it.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I need to put something in here. You need some color. You need to pop something over there on that wall. And they have like
Exactly.
big beautiful houses, but I don't think people always, know how much joy, just pictures and art are actually very, very important. So let's jump into the fun part where we talk about social media tips, tricks. What was your strategy? You thought about building the brand, you got into it, and then boom, when did you launch Instagram, Facebook, and all of that stuff? And how did you start to grow? Was it organic? Did you need to pay a manager or whatever?
Yeah. So Facebook, I've been trying to grow a Facebook page forever, right? And then because everybody had Facebook first, right? And so Instagram, I really dove into it. I'm gonna say almost 2 years ago. So in 2 years, it's went from like 3,000 followers to like 50,000 followers, which is
Wow.
crazy. But when a lot of people ask me like what's the secret or whatever, I kind of think like because a lot of people too are like the algorithm's terrible. But I kind of think like too if you're not posting 5 times a day, good content,
Yeah.
hashtagging like then you're not even trying. So I tell people first off, it just first comes down to your content. And I'm not saying you need to have the best painting in the world, but you need to know how to take a good photo. So plenty of white space or whatever colors you like. So plenty of white space. You in the photo will get so many more likes than you without the photo, so you might as well just get in it. And just being
I
consistent.
know. You know what? You know what's crazy? Sorry to interrupt you, but you know
Yeah,
what's crazy? It's like I hate being in the photos, right? I just
yeah,
want to put the work up there and just go about my
yeah,
business. But it's like I took a photo one time and it was like I was in it, you know, I had the dress on, looking beautiful, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. I got a bunch of likes. People was
Yeah.
like loving it. And I was like, oh my God, like I look super fat. Like, what are you talking about? You know? So I think
You're
that's
your
what,
biggest critic.
yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, people are like, I think people are like criticizing or being critical with themselves,
Yeah.
and they feel like, oh my God, I can't get out there. It's the same thing with the live videos where people are like,
Oh yeah.
especially people that's not used to it. I know you get it, right?
Yeah.
People that's not used to it, they're like, oh my God, no, I can't go live. I can't do that interview with you. Like, people are gonna see me. I don't want people seeing how I talk. I don't want people looking at me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's true. I think you do have to get in there and get comfortable with yourself and just be good with it. Screw it. If you're fat, if you got all sorts of things going on, just let it all out.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna love it somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. And just know, like, it's not natural for anyone, I don't think. Especially like with me with live video, I just started that maybe 6 months ago, and I used to get hives, like little hives on my neck every time I did it for the first like 5 times, and then finally they just went away. And like now I don't get it because now I'm comfortable with it. But just know, like, I used to not like live video. Now it's no big deal. But I definitely get it, and it does get easier. So even like showing up like on live or in photos, any of that, it doesn't come natural, and it is work, which is why we call it an art business and not an art hobby, you know.
Right, right. So you said the first strategy would be, step your photo game up, guys. Step your photo game up. You figure out different ways to post your work. Make sure you have a clean, bright background, stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
And post. You say post maybe 5 times a day. You guys, can you hear it? Five
Five
times
times
a
a
day.
week. 5 times a week.
Oh,
Oh,
oh. Okay,
did,
okay. So
did,
five
did
times
I
a
say
week.
day?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, no, sorry. No, 5 times a week. Just show up once a day, like Monday through Friday, like treat it like it's a job. I used to use like a like bot too, so like a little like bot that used to go around and like people's stuff. But
Really?
yeah, but that uh like I ended up almost getting banned from Instagram for that because it's a hack, and I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So that it works, but I don't know that Instagram. I think the algorithm is smarter than that now. So I don't know. But really, what it is with that is just, I mean, the like bot would go around and like a bunch of people's stuff, so they would see you and they would follow you. But really, you can do that too. You know, it's just being active and going and seeking other people's stuff and liking it, and they'll like your stuff back and they'll follow you and like all that stuff.
Exactly. I mean, so when you went, do you think it's a pivotal moment where you was at what you said, 2,000 followers at one point, 3,000
Hmm.
followers, whatever it is, and then boom, you shot up to 50,000. Do you think it was something you did specifically? Because I know sometimes some people, they may have like a video, one specific video where it went viral,
Uh,
or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think it was anything specific. I used to do that like bot, and that helps get things going. But that didn't last very long. So, um, just being super engaged and just being, I don't know. It's getting harder too, and people are
Yeah.
seeing your stuff on Instagram less and less. So I just want to put a
Oh
little
yeah.
plug in here. So I did not go viral on Facebook or Instagram, and it's funny because I was always like, okay, my content is good. Why am I not going viral? And so I was like, for like the last year, I was like, I'm just waiting to go viral, like one of these days. And what happened? So I got on TikTok. Are you familiar with TikTok?
Yes, I'm familiar with TikTok.
Yeah, and I went viral on TikTok because the TikTok is a platform that doesn't, it's not algorithm proof yet. And so TikTok really allows your stuff to be seen. Whereas on
Oh,
Instagram and Facebook, you have to pay to be seen nowadays, you know? So
that's true.
TikTok is a really good platform for anybody to be on right now who wants it's so easy to get followers on there. I went from 0 to 200,000 followers in 3 months on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
insane.
you guys.
And a
That, but
hundred,
that's
yeah.
that's a gem that you're dropping right there. Go ahead.
And
I'm listening.
no, you're good. And so, 100,000 of those followers were from one video. So one of my videos went viral. That helped boost things, but I was almost at 100,000 before I went viral. So in like less than 2 months. Um, and so yeah, now it's been about 3 months, and I'm at like 230,000. And I mean, people, TikTok just their algorithm just allows your stuff to be seen more so than any other platform right now, and I don't know that it'll last forever. So I'm telling everybody, I'm like, get on TikTok while it's hot, like while you can, because your TikTok followers, some of them will spill over to Instagram, some will spill over to YouTube. And so, I mean, we're all connected in that kind of social media world. So wherever you can get eyes on you easily.
Wow. So on TikTok, because I tried TikTok, but that was like short lived,
Yeah.
and I couldn't figure out how to even deal with it because I'm like, this is too much going on, too many things happening.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, maybe I should give it a try again and get back on it and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm pretty good with video. I'm pretty
Yeah.
good with
Okay.
doing, innovative things and stuff like that. But then I'm like, do I really want to do it? Is it going to be worth my time? Da 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 da. So I mean, so you say get on TikTok. Now, is there a way for you to share like your links and whatever on TikTok?
Not yet.
Okay.
So you can, so like on your TikTok profile,
Mm-hmm.
you can have your Instagram and your YouTube account linked, and
Okay.
that's linked all the time. So people have to go to your thing. You have to go to your profile from your video and follow you from there. Right now, but you have to kind of think like back in the day when Facebook and Instagram first came out, they didn't have stories. They didn't have all these buttons and all this stuff. Like that's all came. And so I really think that TikTok could give Instagram a run for its money in the next couple years. Just because if we look at trends, all the kids were on Facebook and Instagram before the adults, and right now it's
That's
all
true.
kids. Yeah,
That's
TikTok is
true. You
all
got you
kids.
got to follow where the kids are because
Yeah,
they seem to jump on trends quick.
yeah,
And
and
usually wherever they're at, that's what's the next hottest thing. That's what's gonna be popping because
yeah.
now the kids are like, I don't want to go on Facebook. Facebook is for
Yep,
old people.
yep. Yep, and Instagram is king right now. And
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not going to stay that way. Like something else is going to come along, and I think TikTok has a chance to take that crown away from Instagram.
I pray because now because Mark Zuckerberg owns both.
Yeah.
He owns Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, I need somebody else to get up here and do something else because
Exactly.
now it's like when you are the king, you monopolize all of these social media platforms. You can pretty
Mm,
much set the tone, and we're
hmm.
like at his mercy,
Yeah.
to share our
It
videos.
sucks.
Yeah. To get
Yeah.
our videos out there, and because
Uh,
the algorithm, like when I first, and this was like what, almost 2 years ago was when I first started Instagram as far as my art Instagram. And when I first started it, like I was growing organically pretty quickly, right? And
yeah.
I had did a portrait of a celebrity. They had put it on their page. I started to really grow, grow, grow.
Oh.
But then something happened, right? Something happened with the algorithm. And then it seemed like every month they seem to be changing it more and more and more. Now, on Facebook, we don't have stories anymore. Well, in the groups, we don't have stories anymore.
Yeah.
They changed the way the stories are actually set up on your regular page. And I mean, they're constantly changing the algorithm. So it's like you're
Hmm.
at the mercy of whatever he wants to do. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, and it's becoming a pay to play kind of a thing lately because
Yeah.
like everybody's like boost your posts to be seen by your followers. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
And so I did one experiment. So I posted the exact same video on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and it got I mean give or take some numbers, but it was right around this. It got about 400 views on Facebook, and it got about 5,000 views on Instagram, and it got like 80,000 on TikTok.
Wow.
Same exact video, and I was just like, what the heck? Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But that just shows you, and even on Facebook, Facebook has the most people on it though.
Mhm.
Besides, and second, and Instagram is second. And
Yeah.
then, there's YouTube and all of that. And then I don't know how many people are on TikTok, but Facebook has like, I think a billion people on, on,
Mhm.
on Facebook alone. And this is on all countries. And there's no way your video should have got 400 views.
I know. Like, it's
You know what I mean?
crazy. Yeah.
Like, yeah, that just really shouldn't have happened. So I don't know. It's just absolutely insane. So we talked about, you guys, social media tips, tricks, strategies. You guys really, but at the end of the day, you have to network and you have to put in the work and you have to engage. Because a lot of people are
Mhm.
all about, self a lot of times, especially on
Mhm.
Instagram or Facebook. And they'll not leave a comment, or or you ever seen those people, whether artists or whatever they are, and they'll have like 500 comments and they don't answer anybody.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and just start if you have two comments on your thing, answer every single one of them. Respond with an emoji, something. And that's really what I put into practice this year too, was just responding to every single comment or every one that I can anyway, which is usually 90% of my comments because if people are going to take their time to comment on my stuff, I'm going to take the time to thank them, and that's just huge because then people feel heard. They're not going to unfollow you for whatever reason. Whereas if someone doesn't feel heard, they don't feel appreciated and they're gonna unfollow.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah,
definitely not
yeah.
gonna buy from you. So
Exactly.
yeah,
And especially if you're trying to run a business, you're trying to sell your art, you're trying to do different things, you
yeah,
definitely want to be engaging, because at the end of the day, it is your business. It's about customer support, customer service, and you should be And then to me, I think it's rude anyway
yeah,
if you're not responding, especially when you have so many people showing up, hitting that follow button, hitting that like button, or whatever it is, and you're just not saying anything. I think is extremely rude. Now I can understand people that have, 1 million followers,
yeah.
2 million, 8 million,
Eight
however
million.
million.
Could you
Yeah, I
imagine?
mean,
Oh my gosh.
like I think Taylor Swift, and it's Nicki Minaj, Beyonce. Those are like the top three people that have like 50 million people
It's
or
crazy.
whatever, like bonkers amount of followers or whatever.
Hmm.
And now, if you have those type of numbers, okay, I'll give you a pass. You're
Yeah.
not gonna see my comment. I'm just a little peon in the box, floating around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, floating around in the bowl. So you're not even really gonna see what I'm saying. You're not. It's gonna be too much, too overwhelming for you to respond anyway.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you got, even 100,000 followers, 40,000 followers, and especially if you got 3,000 followers, you need to be answering questions, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So if you had one person you could thank, who would that be? Who is the person that always has your back, that's always riding for you no matter what's going on in your art career?
Definitely my fiance. Um, he is the one who's always like taking the ladders, helping me with literally everything. I'm like, hey, can you come with me tonight to help project this image? Or like in the middle of the night. He's like, yeah, sure. He has so much energy, luckily, and he has so much business knowledge that it really helps me a lot too. So yeah, my big fiance is always. But if I told him that, he would get the biggest head. So I'm just gonna keep that between me and the two.
Yeah, I mean, he probably knows it anyway, because he's probably the only one there,
Yeah,
running
yeah,
up and down and doing that stuff. I mean, we need that sort of support, because, I mean, it's an exhausting existence. I mean, don't you feel tired sometimes? Because, like, I was getting, like I was getting ready tonight and I was like, oh my God, I am so busy. Like up until like the 11th hour, like 5 minutes before the broadcast, I'm still uploading stuff,
Yeah.
typing things down, writing things down up until the last minute.
Yeah, that's how I feel every single Tuesday because I do my art talk every Tuesday as well. I'll be doing it right after I get off with you with an artist interview. So every Tuesday
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
seen that. I'm gonna
yeah,
tune in. I think I tried to.
oh yeah,
I joined your group,
oh
so
yeah.
hopefully I get to see that. I think that's gonna be wonderful. She's a wildlife artist just like you, right?
Yeah, she's so good. She actually does very similar style as well, but she's just so good.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me, how do you deal with rejection? Like rejection, bad comments, people being rude about your art? Because I know a lot of newbies out there would love to know this because people
Yeah,
get discouraged so quickly. And it's very
yeah,
important, you guys, to have a thick skin when it comes to this business because you're out there. I mean, you're
yeah,
exposed, you're out there for the world to see. Your art is a part of you as far as I'm concerned. It's a part of your existence. It's a part of your soul that you put out there to tell a story on how you see the world from your point of view. And when you get out there and you put your stuff out there or you take pictures or you do videos, people are always going to have something to say. Everybody's an art critic. You know what I
yeah, they
mean?
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
My best advice with that, so I don't get a lot of haters, really. Every once in a while I will, but honestly, if someone's hating on me in either in a comment or a DM, I every single time I'll just look at their profile and I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
like they're usually not doing anything, like every single. So just look at the person who's because 9 times out of 10, someone who's really working hard and who is successful is not gonna go and comment on your shit. Like if you people
Yeah,
are like
exactly.
it's the person who is bored, who is doing nothing, and has a lot of time to spare, who is the one that's gonna leave a negative comment. Also, when you mentioned like your art is a part of you, I listened to a podcast here recently from someone who just so in order to take criticism well, and we all need to take criticism, it's probably one of the biggest factors in success in an artist. If you can take it and really take it in, is to separate yourself from your art. Like you are not your art. You know, you are you. You are this amazing human being. Your art does not define you. And so even though I mean it is something, but like it's something that we have to tell ourselves though, you know, because me, I'm like I'm so connected to this. Don't tell me my painting sucks. Like, but if you just can, you just disconnect yourself from it, and it's like, okay, this is something I do. This is my work. This is not me. They're not saying that I look bad. They're saying, hey, this painting can look better. I need to listen, you know? So just really almost just disconnecting yourself from it. And people aren't attacking you, they're attacking something that maybe needs a little bit of help, you know? But if
Exactly.
only listen to them if they do it in like a tasteful way.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
if
yeah.
someone's just coming at you, then just fuck them, like
Yeah, but
whatever.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I'm like, it's a difference. Now it's a difference between a hater, a critic, an art critic, a supposed art critic, and somebody who's actually giving you constructive criticism from a place of love.
Yeah,
It's a total difference. So you got to be able to differentiate. And you're right. 9 times out of 10, I mean, I had somebody like say something nasty to me, and then I like went to their page and they had like no followers and they wasn't doing
yeah,
anything. So I
yeah,
was like,
exactly.
okay, you're not doing anything. So why am I even going to engage in a
Yeah,
conversation with you?
no.
Some people are just very unhappy with themselves and they haven't found their purpose yet. So their purpose is to make you miserable.
Yeah,
You know what
basically.
I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
we're getting down to the last bit of our interview, you guys. I only got like one real question left.
awesome.
And then we're gonna look in the comments to see. So this is the time to put your comments in. You definitely want to ask these questions because hello, she's available and she has so much knowledge to impart. I have some knowledge to impart, but she is running a beautiful business over there, crushing it. So definitely get your questions in now. Type it down in the comments in all caps. Now, do you have any advice for beginners?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I have about 15 minutes, a little bit less, to stay on here before I have to go do something else. But
Okay.
or really right at like 6:30. Beginning, if you're a beginner, just find someone who is doing exactly what you want to do and contact them and just ask them to, follow them around for a day. I get DM'd not all the time, but by people who are like, hey, can I like come watch you do your thing for a day? And every single time I'm like, yeah, sure. And every time I put a paintbrush in their hand and I'm like, here you go, you're gonna help today because I need help. So it's just that's just hands-on knowledge. It's just, I mean, it's amazing for someone who has no idea how to set up a painting area to do a mural or whatever. I'm like, I'll bring them in and I show them like, okay, this is what I do. This is what you need. You need cups. You need trays. You need this. You need rags. This is what we do. And that way, when they go to their job, the first mural job they get, they're not going in completely blind. They're going in with, okay, I know I'm going to need cups and paintbrushes and trays and rags and all that, and so it just helps them. And so if you're starting in the beginning, find someone locally or online or whatever and join their coaching program, like the Artist Academy, or shameless plug, or someone local that you could literally go physically see and talk to them. Hey, like, I don't want to bother you. This is what I want to get into. If you could teach me as you work, that would be amazing.
Exactly. Talking about selfless plugs, you guys, she only has a little bit of time. So I want to jump in. I'm just going to say hi to everybody in the comments. Hi, Bonnie. I think that's some of your peeps. Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie,
Yes. Hi, Bonnie. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Put your plugs in. Tell us about your academy real quick. And then we're gonna see you guys get these questions. And oh, thank you for the
yeah.
great interview. Everybody's saying, can you see the comments?
I can't see him now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but
um,
go ahead, put your plugs in. Tell everybody
yeah,
about it.
I don't know. So if you want to learn how to become um, I guess an art business person, or you want to become an artist, I don't know. Go to artistacademy.co or just artistacademypodcast.com. You can listen to me talk like this. And I have a bunch of different episodes on the podcast to where how to find your niche or there's one episode on there that's like how 5 ways to make money with your art today. There's just a bunch of different stuff on there. So yeah, if you want to get coached, it's currently not open. Right now, I'm just focusing on my students because just having it open all the time is just exhausting with getting people in, like getting them situated. So now, but it opens up on January 1st. So if
And
you
you
want to
said you
start,
have 50 students right now?
50, yep. And then I'm letting in a maximum of 50 on January 1st. No more than that because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So, yep.
So yeah, you guys can check that out. Definitely get with her because she has such an expansive knowledge, wealth of knowledge, especially when it comes to art business and tips and tricks, especially for you guys out there that love wildlife, that want to get them elephants in and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
y'all love it. Get with her. Um, and you don't have YouTube yet, right? Or do you have YouTube?
Yeah, I do. You could find it if you just search Art by Andrea Ehrhardt on any platform, you'll find YouTube.
So everything's linked up above in the description box, as well as my social media. If you guys would like to donate to the podcast or donate to the show, period, you can hit me up on patreon.com/creativegirlofcolor. I'm on all platforms also. The podcast, The Creative Girl of Color. Everything's Creative Girls of Color somewhere, right? So just
Yeah.
look it up. Plug me in. So I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Nope.
agreeing to do this. I really appreciate you taking so much time out of your schedule for me because I know you're super busy. I mean, girl, I know better than anybody else how busy you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
No problem. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. It's kind of nice to do like a reverse
yeah.
interview for a second.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that's the end of our interview, guys, because I don't really see any big questions in the comments. You can always post it down below, and she's tagged in the video. You can go to her page, like all her pages, and you can contact her directly and or email her and see what she has to say. Join the academy. Hit us up on the podcast, on Patreon, all that. All right, and we're out, you guys. Love you so much. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Andrea. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.